Yo, what's up everybody? It's Rise19 and well, I got a different video for y'all. There were a couple of videos on this channel probably about this. I am currently sitting in a 2004 Mazda RX8. It's got the 1.3 liter 13B Renesis in it. It actually, as far as I'm aware, it has a 2006 engine in it. And, well, it's been quite the process, but long story short, I think it was sitting for 5 years, probably around 5 years, and then I got it up and running on no rebuilds, nothing. So, yeah. It has a couple of modifications to it. That would be the dash cam. That's one. Number two would be a TPMS monitoring system, since the car doesn't have a digital one. And I don't actually have TPMS sensors in the tires. So, that would be the first one. The second one is, or no, that would be the second one, my bad. The third one is a pretty shitty stereo in it. Long story short, I bought a Metro kit. The stereo didn't fit. I tried chiseling it out to fit with a like a Dremel tool, and it didn't work. So I ended up putting some tape over it. So yeah, anyway, so a couple of things I think about the RX8 is it's fun. A lot of people say they aren't reliable, and I agree and disagree at the same time. Yes, they're rotary engines. Yes, they have apex seals. Do they go bad? Sure. Do they wear out? Sure. Does it use oil? Sure. I know that. The one main thing that's been unreliable on this are the concurrent issues. Not the engine. It's been like the sensors. Like I've been through 3 crankshaft sensors. I think I've been through... what else? I've had to clean the SSV and VDI. I had to replace the vacuum solenoids, the purge valve, which I'll get into some of that in a second. And then there's a new battery in it. What else? What else have I done to this? There's a couple of things I've done to it, but nothing engine rebuild related. As far as I know, it's got, I don't know the specific compression ratings, but it does sound like it has pretty good compression. It does not have hot starts. I think this has the new starter though, which I've heard a lot can dissipate that. So it has about, here, let me turn. So this, yes, is your RX8. The instrument cluster at least. It has got around 100 and, come on, focus. Or not. There we go. 144,355 miles. That is with this the 06 engine, I believe. Now, I was fixing my alternator the other day. Actually, probably a couple weeks ago now. I actually found a reband tag on the engine. So it's a rebuilt engine. Whether it was rebuilt or remanufactured after or before or whatever, I don't know. But the engine runs good. I put a little too much 2-stroke oil in it, I believe, so it may have a delayed start, but we will start it up here real quick. Here's the dash I was talking about, and then dash cam. But we'll go ahead and start it up here. It has stock catalytic converter, stock headers, stock exhaust, stock mid pipe. The only thing different about the mid pipe is the previous owner tried to weld a straight pipe to it, didn't like it, so they cut off the catalytic converter flange, I think. The one that goes from the mid pipe to the exhaust. So if I want to replace the cat or something, I either have to buy the cat itself, cut it off, and re-weld it, or buy a whole new cat pipe, which I probably will do because the hanger's busted on that pipe and it's actually denting the gas tank shield. So that's my plan. It's like $200, not that bad. And then an exhaust, I want to get a new exhaust. because the stock one is meh. It's okay, but it's a little too quiet. So let's go ahead and start it up. It's already warmed up. As you can see, there is no cold start in this video because I've just driven it. So you know what? Let's go ahead and start it up and we'll see. Didn't want to start there. There we go. Okay, so it started. It's revving around probably 800 RPMs right now. So yeah, I do think she has an engine mount problem because the thing likes to shake there. Let's go ahead and pull it into the gravel real quick, and then we'll go ahead and give her a quick look around. And I'm not really good with driving and a phone because that's what I have to record, so you may not see a red line. I may try it, I may not. I don't know yet. It is an automatic, unfortunately. I know. Scream at me all you want. So engine light. That's the other thing I was going to talk about. So, that's actually from a couple of things. One of them is the catalytic converter O2 sensor, which literally doesn't do anything but measure if the cat's not there or if the cat is decreased efficiency, as in the cat's bad or it's broken or whatever. Anyway, so that one I'm not too worried about. The one I would be worried about if that O2 sensor was the one would be the one on the exhaust manifold. That one is what measures your fuel. Your fuel and air, I believe. I don't know, it's an AFR sensor, so it's an air-fuel ratio, like your MAF sensor. I think it uses the two in combination. I'm not too entirely sure on that. But the other one is evap code. It has a small leak and a large leak. Now, I have had this tested multiple times, actually. I've had it tested, and it's been smoke tested. The whole 9 yards. They've actuated valves and shit. They can't find anything wrong with it. The only thing that they lead to believe is it's probably the leak detection pump. And now, I normally do my repairs myself, do my oil changes myself, you know, all that stuff myself, all my repairs and stuff. I do all that myself. So, I had a shop go and try and diagnose it because I could not figure it out. It wasn't the gas cap. I even bought a smoke tester and did it myself, but there's no smoke. So that led me to believe the leak detection pump, because that's actually what that's what tests your evap system. So if that's bad, it's going to throw a code or so. Now normally it would throw some kind of error code for the leak detection pump, but I can't find anything in the code book that would be related to that, so my guess is, having large leak and small leak posted there, it's the leak detection pump. It's only 80 bucks, and my theory is to just replace it and see if it goes away. If it doesn't, it wasn't that. As for the evap, we've already replaced the purge valve, we've replaced the gas cap, the charcoal canister, and all that stuff. There's no fuel leak, there was a fuel leak for a while. That has been since solved. We had to replace the fuel pump. I think it was the fuel line. It was fuel line nipple. It was cracked. So it was cracked like before the fitting. So it was basically the housing. So we replaced the pump, and no more fuel leak. Anyway, the other thing this has an issue with are CV axles. The boots are torn, they're leaking grease, they're spitting it all over the underside of the car. And shocks. I need shocks, like my #1 priority, because literally it looks like my rear end is riding the wheels. I'll show you it here in a minute, but it literally looks like we're riding the wheels. So, you saw me rev it. You know some of the issues here. You got the stereo, you know, standard car. You got the suicide doors. And one thing I've been keeping on hand with me are fuses. Literally a must-have for me. I don't know why, but my taillights keep blowing the 15 amp taillight fuse, which also runs the running lights. So at nighttime when I'm driving with my headlights on, you couldn't see me because it's A, black car, and B, taillights. are not working. So yeah. Anyway, that is the main issue right now, are the taillights. And this road is actually starting to get people on it, so let's scoot over. I'm actually in like a park area right now. I think this is where a lot of people will take their drones and fly. It's like 38 degrees outside right now, so, but I think there's like workers or something going on out there. I don't know where, but they're quite a ways away from here. So let's go ahead and give the car a quick look around. We'll pop the hood, we'll pop the trunk, we'll show you what I keep in there. Should be obvious, but I'll just show you. And then, yeah, so another thing, this has S2 taillights. So you will see LEDs in my taillights. So let's go. So in general, you've got your suicide doors, front and back. I've got a little bit of stuff in my back. I work for Walmart, so I got my Walmart vest back here, mask, hat, you know, standard stuff. And then over there I've got a couple of tools and stuff. And over there I have fuses, hand sanitizer, so that's basic stuff right there. Pop in the trunk. It's like that on both doors, both sides. In the trunk we have, I have a transmission leak. Need to get a gasket, so I have ATF fluid, some more ATF fluid, and then windshield washer fluid, which I don't use a lot of, and most commonly you'll find on any RX8 owner's car, premix. This is not the recommended premix. I do not recommend this. This is just what I have as an emergency. It's actually, I actually have the Idemitsu stuff on order, so I'm actually waiting for that to come in. RX8 Club forums actually did mention that this should be okay to run. You'll just get a lot more smoke. Another thing, coolant. Sometimes you'll lose coolant. So I keep a lot of coolant in here. I haven't needed it, so I'm good on that side. Now the main one is oil. Yes, must have. Every fill up, check your oil, check your trans, check your coolant, whole 9 yards. And then I've got, you know, some sun shields, and of course you gotta have the flashlights and a toolbox. Always handy to have a toolbox, and a high-vis vest back there too. So that's majority in the trunk. I also keep a towel in here, because the seals on the passenger door are bad. And you'll see the other side is just like that. Nothing special there. Okay. Next we've got the engine. So, there's nothing special in here, just a new battery, O'Reilly's battery, you know, gotta love it. MAF sensor, stock airbox, nothing done there. I did remove the vacuum tube, I gotta put a filter there. Let's see, oh yeah, I have that's the only thing custom in this engine is that cap right there. Yeah, still got the air pump, still got the cat. So there's nothing really too special in here, just your 13B Renesis. And yeah. And this is what I meant by shots. So take a look back. She looks actually pretty nice. I do need to give her a wash. Those taillights though, I love those taillights. But yeah, stock exhaust. And then again, this is a side picture. And you'll notice that there's like no room between here and the wheel. And over here you'll notice there's a little bit of room, but not too much. But yeah, pretty much everything's stock. So that's the outside of the car. Automatic, like I said. Let's crank that heat up because it is cold. I'll turn that lower so you can hear me. And now, let us see about taking it for a test run real quick. I do not recommend using a phone while driving, but this is what we're gonna do. So I do not have fog lights. That's the other thing you may have noticed. Said I do not have fog lights at all. So let's see. I'm gonna go and do down this road. Do some driving here, and then when we get onto a highway, I will stick it in manual mode, and then we will do some red lines because I don't think I've done some red lines. Now, I do need to replace my coil packs, so I don't know if I'll be able to hit red line the first time. I sometimes get a misfire around there, but I can eventually get it. So yeah. Like I said, there's extra premix in here, so I should be good to do it a couple of times. As much as I don't really want to, because it wastes a bunch of my gas. But that's what you get for having an RX8. So, but yeah, like I said before, it's got the 13B. It's an 06 and an 04. I suspect it. I don't have paperwork for it from the previous owner. But one of the reasons I suspect it is because it actually has a reman tag, and B, it has, before it faded away, I don't know how it faded away, but it was on there when I started working on it. There was I think it was I don't know, it was there was a label written on the ECM box. I think it was like something about them recoding it. I'm not too entirely sure on that, but that also leads me to suggest that it was a replaced engine. So that's the other reason I think of it. So what do I think about the RX8? I think I mentioned that before in the start of the video, but I'll mention it again. Like I said, it's fun to drive, and I need a new exhaust, cat pipe technically, because my exhaust's rattling. I don't know if you can hear that in the background if I shut up for a minute. That right there. I don't know if you can hear that. It's more common if I go over a bump. Sometimes it'll happen if I accelerate, sometimes it won't, but most of the time it's actually over a bump, so yeah. Alright. Let us go ahead and turn. So you'll notice my blinkers are a little hyper flashy. That is because I have LEDs in the car. And you cannot actually put LEDs in here stock. Because it will hyper flash, because it's actually got its own, from what I read, it's got its own flasher module. I actually had to take that flasher module out and put a bigger capacitor in it, so my blinkers are slowed a little bit, but yeah, you don't want to see my hazards. They're very, very slow. I think it goes like blink, 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 blink. So yeah, hazards are not really helpful. So I think I gotta put maybe a smaller cap in there. There's a 10 microfarad, that's what I was recommended to put in there, but yeah, my hazards are like really shitty, so. But anyway, I mean, other than those common issues I've had, it's a really fun car to drive. I hate going around corners like this. I can, well, you can't really see the road. I can kind of go around corners like this if I'm not holding a phone pretty fast, but the RX8 is actually a really stable car. It's got a really stable frame from what I've researched, and a lot of people use them on the track. There's actually one person, I believe, that modified their rotary just for track use. I know there's a couple of people that do that, but this one, I've heard one that was like crazily loud. I don't remember who it was, but it was freaking awesome. So anyway, my goals is I would love a manual RX8. I could sell this and get a manual. I could sell this and get a more reliable car, yes. Now I'll get back to that. But I just can't stand getting rid of this, to be honest with you. I kind of need to because the rust is getting bad. But that's every Mazda. It's all going to rust. It all depends on whether you live, you know, like where I live, and you've got salt trucks and winter and snow, and you work a job like me where you actually have to go in the snow versus, you know, jobs where you can work at home or whatever. I mean, you know, it's crazy. But anyway, so yeah, it's a really fun car. And I love it, and I want to keep it. I actually looked up rebuild prices near me, and the rebuild price without porting, I think they listed at $2,500. So it's not too entirely terrible, but you're still looking pretty pricey at a rebuild. So yeah. So I've probably owned this RX8, let's see, how long have I been driving it? I think I've been driving it for a total of maybe almost a year now, I would have to say, because, let's see, I started Walmart in February of 2022, and then I think I quit that specific Walmart. I actually quit that Walmart, and then I waited probably 3-4 months. So let's see, I quit, I think September is when I quit, yeah, because that was around my last paycheck. So I quit in September, and then I got rehired at Walmart on December 28th. So yeah, right around a year I've actually been driving this. So it's actually not bad. I love it, and you know, sadly, a lot of states are moving to electric vehicles. I never want to move to an electric vehicle. Yes, they're cool, they're electric. Sometimes the bodies are really cool, but you just you don't get the feel of a rotary that you do in an electric vehicle. Like the what is that? The MX-50, I think it is. I think it's the MX-50 that they're coming out with. They brought back the rotary engine, and their theory is it's going to last longer. But what the real reason it's going to last longer is because it acts as a damn range extender. So yeah, it's like messed up. You don't even really get to hear the engine until your batteries are basically dead and it switches over. So you don't really get, put this in manual, the feel of the rotary anymore. Jesus fuck. Okay, that's not left. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You cannot do burnouts in this car. At least this one. I've seen people do burnouts in manuals, but I've never actually been able to do a burnout in this one. So yeah. Gas. Okay, that's another common one. So, from what I've researched, you don't want to use 87. You don't want to use 89. You want to use something like 93, the premium gas. Yes, it's more expensive. You cannot use E85 unless you modify it. You cannot use E15, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if you can modify it. I'm sure you can. But you have to use like 93. The reason I suspect behind that is actually because one main thing: detonation. Detonations are bad for rotaries as well as they are piston engines. Now, I don't know anything about a piston engine other than they have rods and pistons and valves and I don't know, all kinds of shit in it. Rotaries are kind of simple, honestly. There we go. So yeah, now we got some red line. See if I can hit it here too. Yeah, I think this is the one it misfires on. Maybe. Come on. Yeah, I feel the missing. Okay, we're gonna shift. I'm feeling the missing. But yeah, so anyway, there are new plugs and wires in here. I just need coils, so. But otherwise, I'm pretty much set. I mean, it's a really fun car. It's got 144,000 miles on the odometer. That's not with this engine. I don't know how many miles are on this engine. I don't know if you can just check that, or I don't know. But yeah, one project that I have coming up for this car that I might actually record now is a coolant temp sensor. I am going to be installing a gauge pod and a coolant temp sensor. So yeah, that's going to be fun because there will be coolant involved, and I really don't like coolant. So yeah. Anyway, that'll be fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and over here. I do need to fill up with gas soon, but I'm okay for now. That's 295. See, okay, I find this interesting. So this isn't really related to the RX8, but we had this huge winter storm. It was coming up. Everybody knew for like a week, and gas was like slowly dropping down for the past, God, it had to have been 3 weeks, I think. Gas was slowly dropping down to, I think the lowest it got here was like 195. I think was the lowest it ever got here. And it was crazy. So I took that chance to fill up my RX8. And RX8 gas goes by fast. I mean, I'm at 112 miles at quarter a tank. I was at 120 half tank, but I've been trying to fix this misfire problem, so I've been redlining a few quite a bit. I don't do it a whole lot because, premix and lubrication with the apex seals, and I don't want to blow up this engine. But yeah, so the common conception about this car, a lot of people say they're unreliable. Like I said, I agree and disagree at the same time, because the one thing that is really easy to destroy this car is to drive it cold. That's right, you drive it cold. You drive it cold, you will blow it up. I mean, probably not right there, but you will blow it up. Eventually. Probably in 60,000 miles. From my research, unless you have something called I think it's a pellet delete mod or something. I don't know. It's done during a rebuild. I think it sits behind the crankshaft or the crank pulley, and I don't know. It's supposed to like restrict coolant to the eccentric shaft until the engine is actually warmed up, and supposedly it's you're not supposed to dry the engine cold like that, but yeah. So yeah, that's one common thing to blow up. The next one is overheating. That is a big thing that will blow it up. You won't really blow it up by that, but you will blow up something called a coolant seal. I had an overheating incident actually quite a few times, and I thought for sure I was in for a rebuild, because this was when I was newer to the RX8s. I didn't know shit about this being like a dummy temp gauge. I didn't know shit about it. And so when it started overheating, I started freaking out, and then I looked up, RX8 overheating, and they're like, don't let your RX8 overheat. Keep an eye on your gauges or your temps via either an OBD adapter or keep an eye on it via an external temp gauge. Was actually working. I'm gonna install. I'm actually a little bit sick right now, so excuse the coughing and the hoarse and all that shit. But yeah, I think it's like a cow and a cold. So, but prepare to see a good amount of videos about an RX8. I think it's going to be fun. I think it will be a fun journey to do, and I think I'll enjoy it. Whether or not I get likes, hates, whatever, I really don't give a shit. You can hate it if you want. It's not going to bother me any. So, yeah. I personally like the RX8s. I know a lot of people like the RX8s, and I want to keep it, so I think I'm going to keep it for a while. In the meantime, I will go ahead and see you all in the next video. Hopefully it won't be too long. Maybe a week, 2 weeks, I don't know yet. But yes, I will see you all eventually. So just real quick, peace out.